Hi everyone, happy Friday. It's Friday here in Italy, Friday evening. It's about 7:30. We have pizzas coming at 8 o'clock. It's pizza night for us tonight. I am drinking a local white wine, which is panata. And we're gonna talk about tonight life in Italy. We're going to talk, as we always do, we often do, right? We're going to talk about updates on projects in the Palazzo, which is super exciting. And we're going to talk a little bit, very briefly, about our olive oil partnership with one of the most amazing restaurants here in the area. So first, I like to just tell everybody who we are and why we even talk about these things. So I am half Italian. I grew up in the United States, but I've always spoken Italian and dedicated myself to speaking Italian and spending time with my Italian cousins, whether it was in Lazio or up north in Piemonte. My husband is Italian. We live here in central Italy, and we are very much an Italian household. So we speak Italian 100% of the time in the home, and our whole world is Italy. Which we'll get to that when we're talking about life in Italy, because life in Italy, there's so many different places to live in Italy, and life is so very varied here. So anyway, that's who we are. What do? We have a farm that's been in my husband's family for centuries. We make olive oil that has won prizes internationally and is DOP, of course, which means that it's the most curated, controlled, and really legislated type of oil, like heavily controlled for quality, and so very high quality olive oil. We have apartments and houses that we rent out to guests, and part of that is the major restoration we're doing here on the Palazzo. And we also write and publish books. So the most prominent of which is my mother-in-law's, about her time growing up, surviving, and falling in love during and after World War II, available on Amazon. And all of that is on our website. So that's who we are. It is June 10th, I think, yes. And we're gonna talk today about, again, those three things: olive oil partnership for about 20 seconds, and life in Italy, and updates on projects in the Palazzo. So let's dive in. We recently partnered our olive oil with a phenomenal restaurant here in Umbria called La Panatella. You have to go check it out. It is amazing because it has a base in tradition, but it is very forward thinking, but in a way that's not too frou-frou or too nouveau or too, bubbles of cheese type thing. Really amazing. So you should check them out. Again, our olive oil has won top prizes in Berlin, London, and of course it's also DOP. It's delicious, and it's available on our website. Okay, life in Italy. So what's going on lately in Italy? It's been changing temperature constantly. So last week was unbearably hot for the beginning of June, which I do remember 20 years ago in Italy. It was so hot, and I went to Pompeii and I had to totally bail out because it wasn't even possible to visit Pompeii 20 years ago. It was over 100 degrees in the beginning of June, and it was hot like that last week here in Italy. This week has been glorious. This week we've had these beautiful breezes, cool in the evening, even every now and then a little bit of rain, which we're desperate for because we've been having a really severe drought here in Italy. And so that's what's going on with the weather. Of course, in our garden, we have these gorgeous ancient roses that they have this perfume that's not sweet. It's almost spicy because it's a really ancient variety that it's been in the garden for as long as at least my mother-in-law, who's 90, can remember. So it's probably been there for a really long time. And the hydrangeas are blooming now, and we have cherries, and what else? I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. Oh, the jasmine, gelsomino, the jasmine. We have so much jasmine in the garden, and it literally wafts up through, I'm looking out the kitchen window right now, it wafts up through the kitchen window and just perfumes the house. Like, it's a dream. It's just a dream. It's amazing. We are going to have an expanded version of this video with footage of the Palazzo and footage of the garden, and so that's all coming too. Okay, so that's how life in Italy is. I do also want to mention that things are difficult for Italians in Italy. The economy is continuing to have challenges, major challenges that I think, you know, people will say, I want to come live in Italy, and it's the food and the wine and the scenery, and that's all great, and that's all true. And here I am drinking an amazing Italian white wine. But I think what people don't realize sometimes is that things are not great in Italy for the Italians living here. The economy is rough. You know, the average wage is extremely low, and the government is so complicated, and so, let's just say, like I don't want to be negative, let's be positive, but it is very corrupt and that's why you have so much stuff done in cash. And so, you know, it continues to be a big challenge for the Italians who are living here. Like, we are fine. I think anyone who lives in Italy who has, what do you call it? Basically, ways to access other countries, other economies, other clientele in other countries, does better than the average Italian. And that's sad, because the Italian economy used to be off the charts, and now it's really fallen. And so I think that's something to just keep in mind. You know, Italy, yes, it's a dream. I know it's a dream for many people, but the reality is often hidden, and the reality can be really difficult for Italians who are living here. And we will dive into that, and we have dived into that on some other topics that I think our most recent video actually talked about a lot of those topics in depth, whether it was the economy or education or bureaucracy. So check out our most recent video, which was, I believe, May 27th. Okay, if you want more details on that. Okay, let's talk about projects in the Palazzo. So we're so excited. Monday, we reinitiated work on the roof. And so every morning at 7 a.m., when we wake up to the sounds of hammering and sawing and huge things dropping onto the levels above us, we're just filled with joy, because we're so happy that things are proceeding on the roof. So tons of progress there. They're going gangbusters. They're making so much progress. It's actually terrifying, because we're like, oh my God, what if they finish that and the other stuff isn't ready to start? So, so we've been strategizing quite a bit also. This week, we've also been doing a lot of document filing, because as you know, in Italy, there is the 110, which is an incentive basically where the government helps you pay for certain works. And so there's a massive amount of document filing to do. Anyone who's done or is doing 110 is doing it in a different way from everybody else. That's just Italy for you. It's Byzantine. And if you ask anyone, oh, how are you doing 10? Oh, I'm doing it through the bank. Oh, I'm doing it through my insurance. Oh, I'm doing it myself. Oh, I'm doing it through the postal system. And then within each one of those, there's a million variants. So it would be boring to go into that, but it's complicated. So we've been handling a lot of the documents involved, whether it was at the vendors or the geometra or the bank or the poste, or, you know, dealing with all of those things. Another big step that's happening very soon is the ponteggio in the back of our palazzo, which is the scaffolding in the back of the palazzo, is coming down finally, because they don't need it anymore, because they already did that part of the roof. So really exciting. We're not going to have scaffolding on the back of the palazzo anymore. The elevator, they're going to start work on in July, which is only like 3 weeks away. It's so exciting. So they're going to be changing, to a certain extent, a little bit of the layout of the stairs, slightly. They have to make one landing bigger, and of course, a hole for the elevator. That's happening in July, which is much sooner than we thought. We thought it was going to be September, but it's going to be July. It's not going to be finished in July, but they're starting all the work in July on the elevator and the stairs. In the attic, you'll probably recall from some of our previous videos, we had a broken beam, huge, like this big, and so bigger than my head, and extremely long, broken. So it was like this and it was broken. And that actually kicked off a couple years ago our desire to create this project to do the roof and then to renovate the apartments upstairs. So I keep going up like for the past 8 months and I just look at that beam and I'm like, I can't believe it's still here. I can't believe that that broken beam hasn't been, taken away. And then this week it was taken away. It was taken down and replaced with steel, basically, which is actually much lighter because on top of the broken wooden beam, there's cement, there's tiles, there's other types of heavy insulation that they used in the even early 2000s, but certainly in the 1950s when some of the roof was last done. And those things only served to weigh the house down, which they thought was a good thing at the time because they thought making the top of the house heavy would stabilize it in an earthquake. Now they've realized it just makes things worse in an earthquake. So the trend now is to lighten the roofs. Roofs, I don't know how you pronounce that. Roofs, yes. Okay, last thing is, of course, we're proceeding on interior design plans for upstairs. As you know, we've ordered our flooring. We've also now ordered our rivestimento, the bathroom tiling. And we've been doing some fun auctions online of antiques because while we have enough antiques to fill our house and we're the part of the Palazzo where we live, in the attic apartments upstairs, we need some things. So we've been having a lot of fun with some online auctions and we'll be posting that as well. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. 12 minutes. Happy Friday. Update from Projects in the Palazzo, Olive Oil Partnership, and Life in Italy in June of 2022. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next time.